In this video we'll look at the square stitch, where our beads are stacked neatly side by side. Stay with me and I'll show you how. I'm using size 8 seed beads and I take about an arm span of thread. We pick up however many beads we need to reach our desired widths. I'm picking up 5. And we slide our beads down, leaving about a 6-inch tail, keeping hold of it so the beads don't fall off the end. We then pick up a bead and we sew back through this last bead of the 5 we just picked up, coming in the same direction as the tail. And we make a loop joining the 2 beads together. We sew back through this bead we just added. We pick up another bead. We go back to our row of loose beads. We sew back through the next one, coming towards the newly joined beads. Joining those 2 beads together. We then sew back through the bead we just added. Pick up another bead. Sew back through the next loose bead. And then back through the bead we just added. Pick up a bead. Sew back through the next loose bead. Then back through the bead we just added. Pick up another bead. Sew back through the last loose bead. Then back through the bead we just added. We sew all the way back through the first row. And then back through the second row. We're ready to begin our next row. We pick up a bead and we sew back through that last bead in the last row, coming in the opposite end the thread is coming out of. And the new bead sits on top of the last bead. We sew back through the bead we just added, pick up a bead, sew back through the next bead, and back through the bead we just added. Pick up a bead, back through the next bead, and then back through the bead we just added. Pick up a bead, back through the bead in the previous row, and back through the bead we just added. Pick up a bead, back through the last bead in the previous row, and back through the bead we just added. We then sew back through the previous row and back up through the new row. Continue until you've reached your desired length, and that's how you do the square stitch.